everyone, and welcome to Sorta My Podcast. My name is Vincent Herman, Vin The Human. Sitting to my left,
James Odle, Alphaspector.
Travis Herman. Dr. T. Neal will not be joining us on this episode because, daddy shit going down. Something unexpected. But what you can look forward to is us whoring out our social medias. Guys, like Sorta My Brand or our Nerd News page, Sorta My Comics, on Facebook. You can follow Sorta My Podcast on Instagram and Twitter. Subscribe to Sorta My Brand on YouTube, where we're uploading all the podcasts now. This week, actually, I'm because last week was crazy. I was sick. I'm going into overdrive this week. I'm uploading a bunch of shit. I've already got some stuff prepped. I'm setting another one when I get home to render and shit. So there's gonna be a lot of content on the YouTube this week. You're listening to this somewhere, whether it's SoundCloud or iTunes. No matter where it is, follow us, rate it, comment, do all that cool shit. Comment and let us know what you think about what we think about the things that other people are thinking about.
That's the best way to put it.
And ultimately, if you want to follow us personally, some of our social media crap is down there in the description below. But let's go ahead and jump into it. And we usually do a little banter at the beginning now. Little back and forth. I saw it today.
Yeah, how was that?
Yeah, that was way better than the original. Super, super better than the original. Now, is it flawless? No, not ultimately. There's this... Okay, I know I'm nitpicking. I know it, but hear me out. There's this thing that keeps happening during the movie where it starts out October 1988, and then it jumps 8 months, I think, to June 1987, or not 1987. It goes back in time to 1989, and that's acceptable. But later it has this jump to, what is it, September? Or no, to August, which is 2 months. But the first shot they open on 2 months later is the bully kid who got hit in the head with a rock and was bleeding. He got gashed open in June, and he's still fucked up on his forehead 2 months later. And then they do the same thing, and then August plays out, and then the whole climax of the movie happens and shit. They jump to September, and all these kids are still scratched up and shit. I'm like, okay, what was this at the end of August? Is this the middle of September? They would be healed by now, for the most part. One of the kids breaks his arm, but so he's still wearing. That's believable.
You don't come back from that quite as quickly as a scratch,
right? Yeah. So super unnecessary time jumps, wildly unnecessary time jumps, and not in continuity with what's happening on screen.
That's you say you're nitpicking, but things that bug the shit out of me in movies is okay, a vehicle, it just scraped up against the guardrail of a road, and you see and it's got all this damage on the side. Well, in the next scene, when it's just driving by, there's no fucking damage.
Yeah,
but in the next scene, it's scratched up again.
And I'm also the kind of guy who, whether it's a TV show or a movie, is if someone has, an oven mitt on, and then, the next shot they don't have the oven mitt, and then the next shot they do have the oven mitt. I'm the kind of guy who looks at that shit. I don't know, maybe I'm an asshole, but, yeah.
Oh, God, I just noticed something like that the other day. I think it was in Civil War.
Really?
I think it might have been. It had to do with a mask. So it had to have been Civil War, because that and Doctor Strange are the only two that I've watched here lately. And Civil War was the only one where any of them were wearing masks. And I'm pretty sure it was Captain America. 1 minute he's got his headpiece on and all that.
Yeah.
And then in a split second it's gone.
Huh.
They pan to someone else and then they pan right back to him and it's gone. And I'm he did not take that shit off.
Damn it! Next time I watch, I'm gonna be looking for that. But ultimately, okay, they keep saying this is a terribly scary movie, and I can see where they would get that. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I find it hard to get scared anymore. No recent movie has really scared me. Now, this movie excited me. It got suspension out of me, but not scared. not really at any point.
Well,
My son, however, who saw it with me, he was
he's
all
gonna
over
have
the place.
nightmares for days.
He was all over the place, but I could definitely see where this would scare the shit out of most people. Like, there's some real creepy elements in this. Like, maybe I'm just desensitized. I don't know.
And I think that's part of, like, we're almost 30 years old. We've seen some shit.
Oh my god, Alien is enough right there to be like, fucking it. Screw that,
right?
Yeah. Although there was some graphic shit in this. The one thing that really got me, because, alright, I'm a dad. I don't like to see kids get hurt and maimed and shit in movies. And there's this part near the beginning, I'm not going to say what it is, so I don't take away from this moment, because the filmmakers made it for a reason, and blah, 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 whatever. I'm not a big fan of this moment, but I will say, like, I was sitting there and, like, I had shot up and my eyes were a little wide. I was like, wasn't scared. I was like, what the fuck? Like, again, it was suspenseful as shit. The child actors are great. The child actors are great.
And that can make or break a movie. When you have a lot of kids in a movie,
right?
Like, that can make or break it.
And I feel like this has already been spoiled enough by the internet. And even if it hasn't, like, it's not like a spoiler. But this is only chapter 1.
Yeah,
at the very end, like right before
soon.
the credits, it says it chapter 1.
Like, as soon, I don't even think it was Sunday of opening weekend.
Yeah.
There was already like a poster image for it chapter 2.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, well, they wasted no time.
This is one I would definitely suggest people see. Our listeners, if you haven't seen it yet, have you?
Huh.
Okay. Yeah, I would say go see it. Don't take the kids; they're not old enough. My son is 11.
Your son's 11.
He's gonna be 12 in December, so
he's gonna have nightmares.
Still, yeah, but. He had to go to, oh my god, and these kids curse so much in this movie. Oh my god.
Really?
There's this one.
Oh god, he's gonna think it's okay now.
There's this one point, the kid who constantly makes sexual innuendo jokes and stuff. They were throwing rocks at the bully, and he was like, go blow your dad, you mullet wearing asshole. Like, what? Oh, okay. So this is
and then you're sitting there thinking to yourself, like, I'm gonna use that someday.
Someday, hopefully, I get to use that one. But yeah, it was a fun movie. And we did our picture. Anytime me and Vin take a picture, go to see a movie, we take a picture with the poster, and sometimes we try to do it themed or whatever. So before we went to see the movie, we stopped at Kroger to buy a red balloon with a white string, and I was like, once I got to the counter, I was like, ma'am, I've got a real simple one for you. We just want a red balloon filled with helium. And she was like, white string, right? Trust me, you're not my first one today. It's like, oh my god.
Oh, yeah.
So, because I felt kind of like an asshole, like, just going in and doing that. But I was like, this is for the picture with my son. It's different, you know. It's a little different. But, yeah. So, it was a good time, though. I'm glad I saw it. For sure, because anymore I only ever get to see superhero movies in theaters.
Same. Last one I saw was Spider-Man.
The next movie I see in theaters will probably be Thor Ragnarok. Like, who knows after that? Probably Black Panther.
If I don't make it to see this, that's what my next one's gonna be.
You definitely, like, next date night you and the wife have.
Yeah.
Go for it for sure. If anything, she'll be scared and she'll need a big strong man to hold her. So
I don't know how she does with horror movies.
It's a good question.
We'll find out.
We'll find out. Yeah. All right, guys. So jumping off from that, let's get into comics. The thing that brought us all to the table and started this whole podcast thing. I think is that how? I don't remember. I don't remember how we originally breached the idea, but there was definitely talks of a podcast, and we were reading comics. So. Sure.
It's been a while since it's been a while since you went first.
Yeah, I'll go first, I guess. My notes are sparing, but I remember these books pretty easily. Alright guys, so I'm doing 2 books today. Walking Dead 171 and Darth Vader number 5. Walking Dead 171 is actually kind of an interesting one in the way that it's somewhat of a lame grab on a popular stereotype of character right now. This issue actually picks up with Michonne's Caravan, who have, I can't even remember, like, the book's kind of been slow lately. I can't even really remember why Michonne is going out with this caravan. I think they're going to meet this new group or something. I don't know. Anyways, they're going through Pittsburgh, which is a big city. It's empty. And of course, one of the first reactions is, like, is this fucking safe? You know, like, a big city environment like this probably has a shit ton of walkers in it. So they're walking through, and they've been walking through for a while, and they haven't seen anything. And so we get this 2-page spread of Michonne yelling out, "Hello, is anyone out there?" Like, real loud. Like I
Who
said,
the fuck does that
they've
in this
been
book?
well, okay, first of all, we're talking about people who are, like, fucking masters of killing zombies at this point. Like,
That's fair.
these are the kind of, like, people note about the show that it used to be, like, people would really react to the walkers and shit. And now most of the seasoned characters, like, barely bat an eye when a walker comes. Half the time they're not even killing them if there's only, like, one or two. They just kind of walk off and leave them. We're talking about people who kind of don't give a fuck about any walkers. And this is a big situation. They're still, like, close enough to the exit of town to where they can probably get out of here quick enough. So she tests the waters. Nothing. Nothing at all until another 2-page spread where a new character has come out of nowhere. Now, this is the character on the front here. You see she's got this puffy pink jacket. She's got purple hair and shit. This chick has been alone for like a year now. Like, she's just been living here on her own for a year. She apparently had a group at one point. They're obviously not around. And there's this back and forth between her and Michonne. Michonne doesn't trust her. She kind of can't make up whether she's ready to trust them randomly or if she wants to train her gun on them, because she kind of goes back and forth like 2 or 3 times during their whole interaction. But essentially, she talks her way into joining this group. This new character's name is Juanita Sanchez. And what I'm getting from her is a Harley Quinn, Deadpool, like, run off at the mouth, kind of silly, kind of kooky, you don't know what she's going to do next type of character.
Right.
And so, Robert Kirkman being who he is, like, me enjoying this book as much as I do, and I'm in till the end at this point. I've read every issue.
Well,
I'm in till the end.
He's even made the statement that it is going to come to an end at some point.
Yeah.
That end isn't
Might be
quite as in sight as Invincible, but the end is coming.
And so I'm in it till the end. So I'm going to stick around and see what this character is like. But essentially she talks away into the group, but says, you know, I have to go get my stuff. I don't like, I've been here a year, I've acquired some things. I don't want to leave them. So she talks them into following her back. They follow her back to her little apartment, and she says, "Come on out. Look alive, boys. I brought some horses." And Michonne fucking immediately, like, slaps her fucking rifle down. "You don't fucking move. I'll fucking shoot her. I'll kill her. You know, this bitch is dead. I see one fucking person." I'm paraphrasing, of course. Anyways, it's silent for a moment, and then this chick starts laughing. Juanita Sanchez starts laughing. Because she was just fucking with him.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That is a good way to get yourself killed.
Oh, yeah.
In this world.
And she says, "Hold on to my gun, I'll be right back." And then she walks up. That's the end of the book. So we'll kind of see how this plays out. Honestly, if they are doing, being Robert Kirkman, if they are doing kind of like, "Oh, you wanted this type of character. You keep saying the comics don't have enough life, so here, we're giving you what you want." But this bitch turns out to be two-faced or something. Like, I can accept it. But if we're just adding another kooky person, we had Negan. We already have Negan. He's kind of fucking off the wall. He's not dead in the comics. Like, he's, they finally exiled him because he helped out in the Whisper War recently. Yeah. And after that, they were like, "You gotta fucking go, man. Like, we're not gonna execute you.
It's like, we appreciate
this
help,
shit, but you did some fucked up stuff. You gotta go." And now that has caused tensions between Dwight and Rick. Dwight is thinking about taking over. So yeah, it's
Fighting
It's
Rick
been
for
a thing.
command has never been a smart move.
Yeah, but Rick's all crippled up now. Like, I mean, he walks with a fucking cane. He's only got one hand in the comics. Yeah, it's... I don't know. Like, Dwight versus Rick in a fist fight, I think Dwight's winning. But Rick is a vicious fucker. Like, I don't know. He's... since the book is picked up after the all-out war where his leg got all fucked up and stuff, he's already fought off 2 people. He bit the throat out of one of them. So, yeah. Anyways, we'll see where this goes. I'm kind of lukewarm on the whole situation. I can see where it's cheap, but at the same time, again, I'm in for the long haul.
Yeah.
I'm already committed to some of these characters, so we'll see. But, much more interestingly, I also read Star Wars Darth Vader number 5, and this is, I don't know if you say this is volume 2. I really don't know how they classify these, because there was a Darth Vader comic post
because I remember
Marvel.
you talked about a couple of those.
Yeah. Well, this is the series that takes place, I mean this literally, like minutes, maybe a minute after the ending of Star Wars Episode 3.
Okay.
So he's done his no, and here we are. And then we pick up in issue 1. So essentially what the story of this book has centered around so far, this first arc, has been about Darth Vader constructing his Sith lightsaber, which is apparently you need to kill a Jedi and corrupt the kyber crystal of their lightsaber with the dark side. And that's how Siths get their lightsaber.
Huh.
Yeah. So we're learning a little bit here too.
That's actually kind of interesting, though.
So at this point, Darth Vader has killed a Jedi, a long hidden Jedi too, taken his lightsaber, and has phoned home to the Emperor, who tells him, you need to go to the place of your greatest defeat to do this. So he goes back to Mustafar, where he was cut down by Obi-Wan Kenobi and left to die. He goes to Mustafar, and you might recognize a certain panel in this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know where that's supposed to be?
Yeah.
That's Darth Vader's castle. Well, the future site of Darth Vader's castle on Mustafar. So he goes to this place, and he walks into this cave and starts to deconstruct the lightsaber, take out the kyber crystal. He starts messing with it, and you can tell he's putting everything he can into it, and then it just sizzles and blows him back. At this moment, we see him say, what have I done? And from there, he gets up, he reconstructs the lightsaber as is. He hasn't corrupted it yet. He goes back to the Emperor, and the Emperor says, something along the lines of, were you successful in your quest? And he says, I was. And the Emperor says, I would see your blade. Darth Vader strikes the lightsaber, and it's green. From there, they end up in a big battle, and he cuts down the Emperor, killing him.
Huh.
Only shortly after that, he seeks out Obi-Wan Kenobi on a planet that is obviously not Tatooine. Obi-Wan strikes his lightsaber, he takes off his helmet, kneels before Obi-Wan, and says, please. Obi-Wan disengages his lightsaber, says, Anakin, and then we see Darth Vader wake back up on Mustafar. This is a momentary vision of what could have been shown to Anakin Skywalker, the newly formed Darth Vader. And instead, he says, no, I refuse. He puts both hands on top of the crystal instead of stepping back and using the Force as he did a moment ago. And putting everything he can, using Force lightning and everything, which is a dark side power. Seeing visions of his great defeat, visions of his mother's death, visions of Padme, and all the while this fucking crystal is like giving off all this energy, and like the Force is going crazy. And the last panel we see him working with this crystal is just all this blue and red energy just flying out of it. Him going, ah! Like, oh god, that was a terrible scream from me, but like, something like that from him. And we cut back to Coruscant, where the Emperor has been sitting and waiting, and the Emperor's Imperial Guards take a stance, and they're about to attack someone until they're thrown into the glass behind the Emperor. And the Emperor says, I'm perfectly safe. Leave me. Because Tarkin's there. I should mention that. I don't know. He says, apprentice. Darth Vader strikes the lightsaber and says, master, which now has a red hue. And boom, that leads us into our next issue.
So it's the story of how Darth Vader got his lightsaber.
Yeah, right? It was really cool art, guys. We're only 5 issues into this thing. I'm sure you could probably track down the other 4. Somehow, some way. If nothing else, the trade will be out in a couple months for this first arc. I suggest checking it out. It was really cool. Darth Vader kills an entire fucking town at one point during this story. So yeah, check this book out. I've been really digging it. And I think you will too. So Odle, with mine done, I guess it's time for something old, something new,
something borrowed, and
you really got to work out that something blue part there.
Batman's blue.
Yeah, just an insert from Spider-Man Blue.
Oh my god. I could.
You could, yeah. But then you'd be taking up way too much time.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That'd be...
You're gonna have to reconstruct this whole fucking thing.
My something old. Okay, so gonna kind of give a little bit of a lead into this one.
A little spoiler alert for later in the episode.
A little bit,
okay,
but
right.
A little bit more like, okay, in my personal collection, like, okay, I like Hellboy. I enjoyed the movies. I wish the third would have happened. Found out they're making a new one.
I don't see why the third didn't happen, because they had all
they had everything lined up for
Well, they also had all these animated movies and shit that came out that had all the cast from the movies.
Yeah.
And shit. I don't see why it didn't
the third live action just never got off the ground. But, I thoroughly enjoyed the character. And in a moment of spontaneity, I bought all 6 of the library editions for Hellboy, which is all of the Hellboy comics in these beautiful black. Feel this.
Yeah, it's felt.
Is
that felt?
It's some kind of
felt.
I don't think it's felt, but it's fabulous. The super nice library editions of Hellboy.
It's really nice.
And they've been sitting on my shelf. Almost all of them are still sealed, and I just never picked them up to read. Well, upon the unveiling of the new image of Hellboy,
which we'll be talking about later in the episode,
I decided to pick up my volume 1 of Hellboy and start reading it. Now, one of the problems I had, and just opening it up, the first, I love Mignola's art, especially for this. It works. The first thing that made this seem so daunting before was when you first get into the book, it's a lot, there's a lot of reading to kind of...
Exposition, a lot of narration.
Yeah, sidebar narration is what we'll call this. So... I would start reading and it's like, okay, I know this is important, but can we just get on to the rest of it? So the other night I sat down, I'm like, I'm going to power through this. And I'm so glad I did, because anyone who's seen the first Hellboy movie, the first few issues of this, it's pretty close, but not dead on. There's a lot of differences. But, we see the ritual, we see the summoning, the Nazis and the Americans, and
it's always the goddamn Nazis.
So, all this happens, and Hellboy pops up in front of Trevor, and there we go. And then it just fast forwards to 40, 50 years later, like everyone knows it does in the movie. So, I mean, they did stick pretty good to the source material. There's a lot that happens in the city in the movie that happens in fucking BFE in here. Trevor is the man who found and adopted Hellboy. Yeah. Raised him, got put him into the paranormal research division and all that. And the BPRD, as it is commonly called, the Bureau of Paranormal Research and Defense.
Yep.
And
so that's what that is.
Yeah.
I actually didn't know that.
Yeah. It has a name.
As you'll find out later in this episode, I don't know a lot of about Hellboy. So,
and I'm enjoying learning about it. There's a lot more that goes into it than what everyone saw. There's old gods, there's all these other demon entities and sorcerers and wizards and all kinds of shit. It starts raining frogs outside of a building in New York. And so, of course, comes in a frog monster that Hellboy chases and is beating down and all that fun stuff. Which, we see the same monster in the movie. And it actually, like, the way they did it in the movie is fairly comic accurate, the way it looks. As accurate as you can be.
Yeah.
But Hellboy is constantly talking about how he has anger issues, and sometimes that's a good thing. Because anytime he's in a fight with something, he gets mad and he starts to win. So they're in between. It has, like, I thought this was really fucking cool because, like, there's an entire volume of BPRD called The Plague of Frogs. Frogs are a big thing among the mystical world, apparently, just like cats are and all that. But apparently there's a story behind it that man didn't want to die, so he sent a dog who was supposed to be faithful to man to deliver the message to God that man wanted to be reborn upon death. So the dog went to deliver the message, got distracted by soup. Like the dog, yeah, he was soon distracted by the smell of soup and followed his hunger instead of delivering the message immediately. The frog saw this as an opportunity and delivered a message to God that man did not want to be reborn, because if man were to be reborn, it would overpopulate, destroy the swamps and everything, basically destroy the habitat of the frogs. The dog stopped being distracted, made his way to God to deliver the message, and God was touched by the devotion of dog for man, but he granted the frog's wish because the frog got there first.
Oh God.
So, but like it was little tidbits like that. But like looking through here, like the art for this series, like I enjoy it.
Yeah,
It's not one of those like extravagant art, all this and that. It's
very minimalist.
Yeah, it's very simplistic, but it's very enjoyable. And it's like in the second issue, we get Eve, we get Abe Sapien, or not Eve, Elizabeth. I've only made it 4 issues in because I was only able to read 1 issue at work. But we have like the giant squid monster.
Yeah, like how he faces at the end of the film. Yeah.
Yeah. So like that's going on in like the 3rd issue. Damn. Like the main thing that he's facing is this sorcerer.
Yeah.
It's like the big bad isn't necessarily the big squid like they made it seem. It's the sorcerer. And of course, like Abe Sapien's on kind of a recon mission at the old mansion that they're at. There's another bigger, badder frog frog monster. The sorcerer goes into detail about his plan and what he had to go through and all that. And this is where we see like there are 7 different big demons, and they all have jihad, like Jahad, as like a suffix to their name.
Huh.
Which is weird, but I'm sure it's all going to come into play as I continue to read. But this sorcerer has basically mind controlled Elizabeth and brought the squid monster to like its full power. So now I'm waiting to start the next chapter and see where it goes. But just flipping through these are like, it's very enjoyable to sit and read. I thought that reading this was going to be a chore because of how it started out, but it really wasn't. Flipping further and further through, because this is a library edition. See, this is a scene from like the 2nd movie.
Yeah. Which I don't remember at all.
Yeah. The 2nd movie was also good. And then there, later on, apparently there's a giant fucking bulldog monster. So that's cool. Look forward to that. But then, of course, at the end, there's a sketchbook that I was flipping through. And, like, that's a big thing to me is, like, these sketches and everything. We got Hellboy's dad, the frog monsters, like, all this and that. I don't know. I enjoy this kind of shit.
I never have. It's to me, it's always been like, hey, you want to see something like you might like better, but you're never gonna get? Here it is. Oh, you want to see it deconstructed? You want to see the shit that you just read deconstructed? No, no. I was like, I appreciate the process, but that doesn't mean that like seeing Hellboy made out of like lines and dots interests me.
See, what I like about this is it's like, okay, here, another horse-headed guy. I like him. He looks
Cool.
really excited.
Yeah.
No, like that's what it says in the book.
No shit.
It's like, I think this guy is a sea monster. He looks really big, as if he would have no problem swallowing a boat.
Damn.
So it's like the little comments
notes.
like that in
fun.
these, like those are what I find to be the most fun. Like when going through sketchbooks and stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of fun.
But
I doubt that's in every single one though.
I don't think it is. But
because I always hated getting the sketchbooks and concept art books with like video game special editions because it's just boring.
Yeah,
I was
like
fuck
for
this.
stuff like that.
Oh my god, Arkham! That one, the special edition, the game came in a fucking book, the concept book, and it's in the very back of the book.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so my copy of Arkham is packed in a box somewhere because I don't want to have that fucking block out. You know?
My god.
I have no use for that. Fuck that.
Yeah.
So, all right, so that was your something old.
Now on to something new. Of course, you guys have heard me talk about it time and time again. This time I'm going to go into a little bit more detail because my something borrowed is just kind of a quick slide in here.
Yeah.
But my something new is the new issue of Invincible. It's issue 139.
Oh my god. Bringing up Invincible again.
It's almost
when
almost
someone
like
wants
someone
to talk
up
about
Superman.
When someone wants to talk about Superman, we make a big fucking deal about it.
I mean, 12 episodes in a row versus the occasional episode.
You know what? Don't say 12 episodes in a row unless you're going to go back and do the fucking research.
I will, you know what? I will go and look at the tags for the last 12 episodes and see how many of them have Superman.
Because there have been some when I didn't talk about Superman books, but there was Superman news.
But we still talked about Superman on the podcast.
It's not my fault he was debuting on fucking Supergirl. Anyways, go ahead.
Okay, so of course the arc that we're in, it's the end of all things. If you guys have been listening, you'd know that. And we only have what is this, part 7 of 12, so there's 5 more after this. The first trade for the end of all things is now out in stores. The old leader of the Viltrumites is leading an attack and has basically ripped one of the people in half. Okay. Almost. Ryan Otley has no problem being graphic.
Yeah, that is graphic as shit.
When I say ripped in half, I mean in the issue prior to this, the guy pushes his hands through like this and just goes
separates
this.
As shit.
But you can see, he's still kind of connected right there.
Yeah.
So of course,
good for him.
That pisses off Mark. That it pisses off Eve. She leaves the space station to save him. She goes out. Mark's just tearing through all these other. Mark is invincible, by the way, the character and kind of the name. He's just ripping through these kids.
Shit.
And I say kids because they're the offspring of the guy leading them.
Damn.
He has produced millions of offspring with this one race that because they age so rapidly. Within a couple of months, they're teenagers.
What?
Because of his DNA and their DNA, within months they're teenagers, but then their aging slows down to almost normal.
Huh.
Yeah, but they're purple. See, so there's no mistaking who the bad guys are. They're all purple. Mark and Thrag, the leader of them, get into it, start beating the hell out of each other. Then one of my favorite things that's happened so far, Thrag is about to shove his thumbs through Mark's eyes, almost like the Mountain does to the Viper in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Which, I would love to see that happen, but not necessarily to Mark. But a giant rocket separates the two of them, and it's the character known as Robot. And he basically brings a giant fucking mech suit to space to help Mark in this battle against all of them. And Thrag makes the comment, really, you're bringing toys to fight me? And that offends the shit out of Robot. He's like, toys. Does this look like a toy?
Looks like a
So
pretty goddamn great toy.
right. So they're all going at it, but then one of the offspring sees that and hears, because everyone has like this telepathic link in space somehow. I'm
Okay.
not sure how, but that's how they communicate. Still not sure how, because I remember
Is there
reading
not
it.
one character who's like linked everyone up? 'Cause
Like,
there was a guy in Action Comics recently who linked everyone up telepathically.
well, I know Martian
In his
Manhunter
team.
does it for the Justice League all the time.
Yeah.
So, but like something like that happened, but I can't remember how, because it was like so many issues ago that they made this a thing and they explained it. So I'm like, I understand, it's a thing. I'm cool with it, but now I can't remember how it's a thing. But so they're all talking. Eve's about to get eaten by these space dinosaur pterodactyl raptors.
All right. Yeah, sure.
Space dinosaur pterodactyl.
You know
raptor.
what? All of those things are terrifying on their own, but sure.
Put it into one.
Put it together.
So this one chick jumps in to save her. Turns out she's a chick that raped Mark several issues ago.
Oh shit! This went into dude rape.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Scarred the shit out of him.
Controversial.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you. She saves Eve. Eve saves her. Then Thrag makes a comment about how all of his offspring are disposable. Like, and he makes that like mentally out loud. Like, he basically screams it to everyone. So his first in command stops and gets all of the other ones to stop fighting. It's like, he doesn't give a shit about us. We're just cannon fodder to him. So they all stop and surrender. Mark goes and takes Thrag and flies him into the sun. Like, just straight up flies him, because Thrag is grabbing his kids to use as weapons to hit Mark with.
Holy shit.
And he goes to hit him with them, and they're just breaking into pieces, dying. He's killing his kids to try to beat Mark with. So that happens. They fly to the surface of the sun after like everyone surrenders, and the next issue, Thrag and Mark are fighting on the surface of the sun.
Motherfuck.
Yeah.
It's like hyper superhero fucking shit on crack, man. For real.
Like,
Yeah, I really do gotta read this.
this is one of those books that it's like it starts out fairly grounded.
Yeah.
But you gotta take into consideration it's a superhero book.
Yeah.
So of course it's gonna have like
gonna
its
escalate.
roller coasters.
Yeah.
It's got, the home drama stuff going on. It's got superhero drama. There are side stories. There's been a whole universe created off of this comic.
Yeah.
And so, but now they're gonna fight on the sun, and that's never happened in these comics before, and I can't fucking wait.
That's amazing.
Like,
Okay, that's a really great one.
yeah.
And now you gotta try and top that with your something borrowed. It's like,
Oh no, my something borrowed is
you
not
get them high and then you bring them down. Look at you, man.
right. I gotta climax in the middle and then just ease them out of it into the rest of the
All
show.
right. Well, this is a good book. This something borrowed is something I've borrowed from the same person, and it's a pretty good book.
It's a JLA Rock of Ages. I borrowed a stack of books off of Bob.
Yeah.
And he was like, this is the first thing I should read. It's a fairly quick read, but it's taken me a couple months to get through it because I kept putting stuff ahead of it. But, this is really my first time reading anything with Kyle Rayner, Energy Superman,
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah, I've read a couple Energy Superman books, like just single issues, but really just getting deep into a story with him. Never been a part of it.
Yeah, like everything about this was really interesting. Very, I was captivated pretty much the whole time I was reading, especially the part when they were going through the Joker's mind.
Yeah.
I loved that.
Wow, was that a fucking cool part?
And it's like the way they depict it is it's like a fun house, like a mirror fun house is how his mind works.
Remember that time we did that issue of I did that issue of Harley Quinn where she was psychoanalyzing herself, and yeah,
Yeah.
a little reminiscent of that. Not the same thing, not
Right.
exactly the same thing, but
And it's
kind
like,
of
and like to
elements.
get through it, Martian Manhunter he adapts to the Joker's brain,
Yeah,
and they just find that linear path with arrows pointing right out. So it's like, but then it's like, I'll see the world as the Joker sees it. Ha 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 ha. And it's like laughing and stuff like that.
it was just real creepy coming from Martian Manhunter, someone
Yeah.
who is just as strong, if not stronger, than Superman.
Yeah. So like to see that he could go insane at any moment was a little unsettling. But like seeing the different things that like the energy Superman can do, like I really enjoyed the Kyle Rayner part. And then we have the Walmart mascot in here. You know,
Yeah. Oh shit! I didn't notice that when I was reading it, but yeah.
it's just a white guy with like a blue emblem on his chest, and it's the Walmart.
It's the
emblem.
Walmart
the
logo.
new one though.
Yeah, but it's not yellow; it's blue.
Yeah.
Either way.
But like I enjoyed the Kyle Rayner. I enjoyed Connor as Green Arrow, like and everything that was going on. Aztec had no fucking clue who he was before this.
Yeah, no, that was a new one for me too.
Metron, I knew who he was,
right?
but never
the
really
Mobius
got
chair,
much of a grasp before this. And then it's like all of the what are these? All the new gods.
Yeah.
Reading about all of those, but what really I think stuck out to me, and not just because I've recently finished it, but like all of the stuff with Darkseid was fucking cool. Like shooting the atom into his eye to have the atom destroy his brain.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
A wild concept, but yeah, like if there's a way to do it.
Yeah. So and it's like he's like, I'm Ray Palmer. I'm a scientist, and I just realized you can see. That means light can get through somehow. And he just goes into his eye and into his brain and starts shooting his fucking brain with laser beams. I mean, if you're gonna win, you're gonna win. The stuff with Plastic Man, I thought was hilarious.
Only time I ever really dug Plastic Man was when I read that, because I fucking hate Plastic Man. He is so goddamn annoying. But
he strikes me as a very annoying character to read anything else. But in this setting,
he has unfortunately had his own series a couple times. So.
But like this whole scene where like he's a pig and everything, like I gotta chuckle out of that. But then it's like there towards the end where Martian Manhunter brings some sanity to the Joker.
Yes.
Like that was
for a quick moment, that is a very sobering concept and a moment in this book that was just very wow. Like if anything is worth reading in this book, it's that.
Yeah.
And if you need an excuse to get through the whole thing just to get to that, it's worth it.
Yeah, cause it's like he wants to make the world smile, and because he has this Philosopher's Stone, the world is fucking cracking, earthquakes, everything, because the Joker's basically making it happen with the Philosopher's Stone. So Manhunter just gets into his brain and makes him sane for a moment, and just this one panel, you can just see so much emotion on Joker's face. He's like, what have I done? Oh God, what have I done?
Remorse. Confused remorse is what I would call that.
Yeah. He's like, I've done so many terrible things. I want to do something to try to make it right. So of course, Lexman tells him, hey, you should bring everyone in Coast City back to life. That'd be swell. Which gets Lex off the hook.
Yep.
But it's like, and then like when Manhunter has to release Joker's mind, like I read this as just a moment of intense pain. Like that's the only way that I can interpret this for the Joker, is that it is a moment of intense mental anguish.
So if you're a Joker fan and you want some more depth for that character, this is the book.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like
it's a more real in canon depth, None of that, like, oh, the fucking, the family he had, and then he became the Red Hood, blah, blah, or the multiple stories he tells in The Dark Knight. No, this is legit, in canon, in-depth fucking Joker.
Like, it was a great read. I'm super glad that Bob recommended I read it first, because I was going to start with Kingdom Come first. But that's next on the chopping block.
Should definitely read Kingdom Come.
I like Alex Ross.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, I fucking love Alex Ross.
Even beyond that, like, it's just a great story. A kind of a comeback for superheroes type of story, because essentially what has happened is that superpowers, I think it's like some sort of shot or pill or something, but superpowers have become a fad, like a new norm or something.
Huh.
And they have this one guy who's kind of like a fucking dick, who's the biggest of them all. And he ends up essentially running Superman out of town at one point, like in the past. So we pick up years later and shit. There's even this one moment with Batman talking to Superman. Batman is now in this like exoskeleton thing that helps him move around
because he's so old.
He's so old and he's so fucking busted up and shit. And he's talking, and then in the next panel, Superman's fucking gone, and he turns around and he's like, "So that's what that's like." And I was like, oh god, that's great. So yeah, I would definitely suggest that. But yeah, Rock of Ages, great fucking book.
And it. Honestly, I was sad that it took me till like the end to check and see who the writer was, to see that it was Grant Morrison. I'm like, that's why Bob told me to read it first.
Yeah. Bob painted it with Grant Morrison when he sold it to me. So, anyways, well, you know what that means it's time for, right? It's time for the news. Phone booth news. That's right, guys. This is the section of the show where we try to give you the news faster than Deadpool can save the day, which is essentially 3 minutes and 45 seconds if you're judging from what was that, a teaser? I don't know.
Deadpool 2 teaser.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Let's call it the teaser. Anyways, so we've got Mr. Alphaspector's finger on the button here. You tell me whenever you're going.
And go.
In comics news, Mr. Oz, the mysterious man working behind the scenes in the DC Universe, has been revealed in Action Comics number 987. And I've read this issue. It is great, not even just for this reveal, but for just Superman fans in general, and has actually sparked kind of a weird debate about people being mad that he saves illegal immigrants in this issue. Which, fuck those people. Anyways, in movie news, Drew Goddard, writer of The Martian and Cabin in the Woods, was tapped to write and direct the X-Force movie. This movie will be starring Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool and Josh Brolin as Cable, but the rest of the Mutants team, Black Ops team, has not been announced yet. All Marvel and Star Wars films are going to exclusively be streaming on the Disney streaming service coming in 2018. However, it is still unclear if that will affect the Marvel Netflix shows. They're still in talks because originally they were in talks to keep some of the movies and shit on Netflix too. But now Disney's like, nope, it's all going to be on our shit. So, in awesome news, a Night Before Christmas themed Die Hard Christmas storybook is set to release October 17th. And I cannot wait. I've already been given a link to Amazon. It's about $10. I'm going to be pre-ordering it real soon. So I suggest you do the same. In podcast news, Smallville fans rejoice. Tom Welling and Michael Rosenbaum had a little bit of a Smallville Lex and Clark reunion on Michael Rosenbaum's Inside of You podcast, available on most podcast formats. I listen to it on SoundCloud. And they talk about Smallville, their high school years, Tom's construction and modeling days, and so much more. It was a great episode. You get to hear Tom Welling say fuck a whole lot, so that's fun. And good news, everyone! Futurama is back in the form of a podcast radio play. Radiorama is available now on the Nerdist podcast, and essentially what this episode is a longtime favorite show that's been on again and off again, All My Circuits is coming back in the form of a podcast. And Bender is reprising his role regardless of how bad his performance was on it before. And he's doing this for his mother who's sick and dying. Meanwhile, Leela and Fry are arguing over a piece of unseemly and kind of offensive art that Fry made for Leela. So, it was really great. I also listened to this today, and it was fun. Really cool. I suggest you check that out. So, where are we at? Okay, that's it.
256.
256! We did it again! Last episode, it was like 4 minutes, 15 seconds. So, we were like 30 seconds out. So, yeah, we did it again. Guys, any of these stories you can check out on the Sorta My Comics page on Facebook. It's where we post all our nerd news, anything we think is worthy to talk about here, and so much more. There's a bunch of other stuff that we post on there too.
God, we post a lot of not news related stuff here lately.
Have we?
Yeah,
I've been posting a lot of shit. I know that.
I mean,
what
like
do you mean news related shit.
Not news related.
Not news related.
Like
just
like posting shit up. I guess you could call it news, but like
what the fuck are you talking about? Speak your words, Odle.
I are good pizza.
Well, yeah, pizza's great, but I don't know what that has to do with our podcast. Anyways, alright. Fuck, what the fuck were you talking about? Anyways, okay, guys, so that leads us into our discussion-worthy topics. The first thing up is the first image of Hellboy has been released. Mike Mignola, the creator of Hellboy, shared this on Twitter of actor David Harborough, who you might know from Stranger Things. He played Jim Hopper.
Which, God, he looks so good as Hellboy.
Yeah, this is him in full makeup, and it's really great.
I was a little hesitant because I'm like, okay, we're all like used to Ron Perlman and how he appeared.
Honestly, I don't think it looks much different.
It doesn't.
Yeah,
but like
I mean, you've got some more. It seems like his arm is a little more mechanical.
It's
weird.
There's more detail into his arm. He's a lot more like realistically muscular looking instead of like bulky plastic
like a fucking rubber vinyl.
Yeah.
Like Batman, 89 Batman.
Yeah. And it's like, you can see the scars and the markings and everything else.
Yeah.
But,
Well, they and I was just watching this today in preparation of this. They put scars and shit on his body and whatnot in the Ron Perlman version.
But it's like you can't really fuck with the Hellboy look all that much because
there's not a lot of creative liberties there.
Yeah, I mean, he's Hellboy. He has his trench coat. Yeah. He has his big concrete looking arm. He has longer hair.
And here's what they've done. Essentially, his hair is usually up.
Yeah.
In some sort of and it was constantly up in the movie.
Yeah.
They let his hair down. Big old chains there. and like I said, it seems like there's some silver in his arm. Like, it looks mechanical, kind of.
Yeah.
And
I'm
wondering what that's all about.
In a sense, it's almost like they made it less cartoony appearing. Because
I don't really think the Ron Perlman version looked very cartoonish. I mean, if we're getting literal here, it's like one normal red arm beside like another huge fucking cannon type arm.
Well, yeah, because even
either way, no matter what you do, it's gonna look a little weird.
Yeah, because I mean, even in the comics and everything, like you look and you see like it's a regular arm, and then it's like someone put this big concrete gauntlet up to his elbow on him.
Yeah.
I don't know. So do you think they're going to kind of follow suit and like just kind of reboot the whole thing and start over like the comics? Or do you think they're going to go a different direction?
A lot of movies have been foregoing the origin story these days. Now, with some franchises like Batman and Spider-Man, we don't need it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know we have other movies that have told us. I mean, those of us have read the comic books. We know. So yeah, we don't need it. But Hellboy, that's a little different.
Like,
We only have one movie with it, and the comics, they're not that well known. Like
No,
they're not. Like a lot of people
like,
don't read
among like
They're a
collector
cult classic,
communities
yeah.
and all that, like people love them, people appreciate them. But once
Yeah,
you
I'm
get
not saying
out
that
of
there's
the
a fan
collector's
base.
community,
There's
yeah.
a big fan base, but it's not a
It's
huge
not
fan
Batman
base.
size.
Yeah, it's not a huge fan base.
Yeah,
So the smart play would be put a little origin, follow suit with the comic, follow suit with the Ron Perlman version, the 2004 movie, and do that little introduction, that little
like I feel
origin
like
story.
I feel like we're gonna get like the Nazi ritual going on. We're gonna get the Crack of Thunder, Hellboy appearing, and all that. I don't think we're gonna get like any kind of growing up or anything, because why?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like we're gonna get a lot more like BPRD kind of stuff.
Well, and that brings me to my next point, the whole why thing. If they're just gonna follow suit and follow the comic pretty close, like the original one did, from what you said, why make this movie at all? If those two did it and a 3 was on the table, like why fucking do a reboot if we're just gonna get the exact same thing?
Yeah.
So I'm hoping to see something different. I'm hoping to see some shit I don't know anything about.
I'm sure we will, but some of the things that we know we can expect are gonna be the big ass gun.
So far, there's no Abe Sapien on the. I checked the IMDb while in preparation for this, and there's no Abe Sapien. Mila Jovovich is cast in the movie. I can't remember what it said.
She's gonna be Elizabeth. I
think that's what it said. Yeah, don't quote me on it, but I should have wrote it down.
I can 100% see that.
Yeah, but she is in the movie, and yeah, like I said, I didn't see any Abe Sapien on there because I looked. Because a lot of people are saying that this upcoming Guillermo del Toro movie that is coming up. I don't remember what it's called right now, but they keep saying it's an Abe Sapien origin movie, and he has insisted it is definitely not. But the creature in there kind of looks a little like Abe Sapien.
Wait,
and
what?
As we all know, Guillermo del Toro is the guy who made Hellboy 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So.
Huh.
You're really gonna Google this now. You're gonna make me look this shit up.
I don't know how to spell Guillermo.
No, you don't. Nobody does.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll do it later.
Yeah, look into that later. Anyways, I've seen the trailer for this. It looks like a cool movie. And I also saw an article today that said there's definitely going to be a fishman lady sex scene in it. I was like, all right, I could watch that. Like, it doesn't really do anything. Doesn't really do anything for me, but hey, it's sci-fi, so why not? So that's really all I want for it, is for it to do something different. I've seen the first movie twice now.
A whole 2 times.
A whole 2 times, and I remembered it being a lot better than what I saw today. And that's not to say it's a bad movie.
You're just more critical of it.
It's a lot cheesier than it was I remember it being. I don't know. I'm sure if I really thought about it too, because I was also putting the show together while I was watching it, so I wasn't paying like 100% attention. If I was, I could probably point out some plot holes.
Oh, but no doubt.
And then I don't remember the second one at all. The Golden Army. I know I've seen it. Couldn't tell you a damn thing about it.
I remember pieces of that one. I remember like the elves in it. I remember the Golden Army and everything going on with that.
Nope, none of this makes any fucking the elves, like the Golden Army, like okay, fine, because it's called the Golden Army. But the elves, I don't remember.
The Golden Army was an army created by the dwarves for the elves for protection.
Oh shit! So this has a whole Middle Earth element to it, and I can't remember any of it.
Kind of like
it's.
I'm surprised it hasn't made its way to Netflix already.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a Dark Horse property. Honestly, like back when I first saw this movie, I thought it was a Marvel movie. Yeah, I did not. I
Yeah.
hadn't come to realize that
There were other companies.
well, no, I knew, but because I knew all the Star Wars books were in Dark Horse around that time. So.
Yeah.
But and the Stephen King Dark Tower shit was all going through Dark Horse. I knew about Dark Horse.
No,
but
the Dark Tower stuff went through Marvel.
No, not all of it. I know there's some Dark Horse, Dark Tower shit. We're gonna have to look into that one too.
Yeah.
But anyways, so like I just thought it was a Marvel movie because that's like they had Spider-Man 2 was coming out around the same time.
We were just kind of a cousin was like,
we're just 4 years out from
we've got Marvel and DC, and they're making movies. So if it's a superhero, it's got to be Marvel or DC.
Which is what like really threw me for a loop when Injustice 2 was like fucking Hellboy, and I was like, what? Like, what the hell? So, anyways, yeah, it looks cool, but we've only got an image. We don't have a synopsis. We don't have like a trailer. We don't have shit. We've got an image. This could be a total pile of fucking garbage. So,
but at least he looks cool.
We'll wait to find out. Yeah, at least he looks cool. So the next piece of news that we've got, and I feel like this is a big one. Recently, Colin Trevorrow, the guy responsible for Jurassic World, the director of Jurassic World, anyways, I should say, got fired from Star Wars Episode 9. Now the rumor is that in between Jurassic World and Episode 9, he made this indie film which like bombed and it was controversial, and on top of that, him and Kathleen Kennedy could not get along. Like, it was a kind of, he got too big for his britches because he had Jurassic World and some other movie I haven't seen yet about I know it's based on an ad in the paper of a guy who was time traveling, said he was time traveling and was looking for people to join him, and said he'd only done it once before, something like that. I know that, I don't remember the title of the movie, but it was a big hit, and then he went on to do Jurassic World, and kind of, being a new, very young director, kind of got big britches about himself and was clashing with Kathleen Kennedy. He's like, this is what Disney Star Wars wants. They have a vision. They know what they want. They're story driven. They're putting the story, much like Marvel Studios and under Disney does. They're putting the story ahead of the directors and the creators and shit like that.
Which is good.
So if a director comes in and they want to make it their own thing, it's not going to fucking work, and she's going to shut you down. Kathleen Kennedy's going to put a fucking axe to you. I mean, the guys who made the Lego movie, that's how they got, I don't remember both of their names right now, because there's still, again, they're two new names. That's how they got fired off the Han Solo movie, because they were like, let's do a lot of improv, and like, let's make it fun and funny. And they're like, no, we've got a vision. There's going to be some humor here, but yes, it's a straight ahead story. There's no room for improv here. And so there was creative differences, and they got fired. So
there's always creative differences.
In the light of this, they went ahead and said, okay, who toes the line? Who gave us what we wanted before? Who's going to give us what we want now? And they have landed on J.J. Abrams, the co-writer director of Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
Now I wanna point something out here, that J.J. Abrams is on top of his space shit.
He is, to an extent. I'll admit that Star Trek Into Darkness has some problems, but ultimately, I think it was great. I loved that movie. I enjoyed it so much.
I finally got to watch it not too long ago.
It was a great movie mashup of Wrath of Khan, and I can't remember the title of the episode, but the first episode that Khan appears in the original Star Trek episode. It was a great mashup of that, brought in a few more elements. They flipped the script on the whole death of Spock thing, It was really well done. Now, the whole, Tribbles, I brought this one back to life, we can save Kirk type thing. Fuck you. But, still, at the same time, it was pretty great. But he got a lot of shit for that.
Yeah.
And that's why he didn't want to do 8, because he was originally offered 8. And so he didn't want to do 8 because he was like, you know, I did 1. I don't want to repeat Star Trek. So, you know,
I mean,
we'll leave it here.
And it's good that, you know, they get someone not only with the reputation that he has, but who also recognizes when he makes a mistake and makes sure that he doesn't repeat them.
Right.
Like so many people do.
And it, like, there are a lot of other directors they probably could have brought in. One, I heard Kevin Smith talk about this on his podcast, Batman on Batman.
Yeah.
And he said that on Twitter, I think it was Twitter, he said he brought it up that maybe give George Lucas the job. And he was like, his defense of that idea is that it's like, give him the redemption. He started it, episode 1, or episode 4. He did it. That was him. He directed. He gave us this whole fucking world. Let him have a chance at redemption. Let him take an opportunity to use the things that he's learned from the prequels and, you know, all these years, to give him some redemption. And, of course, being under the thumb of Kathleen Kennedy, he'd go in the right direction and shit, but give him a shot. One last fucking shot. And I was like, you know what? That's so romantic. I want it. It's so, oh, fuck, I kind of want it, but
that's so heartwarming.
Far more comfortable with Kathleen Kennedy. Or, I'm sorry, with J.J. Abrams doing this. Yeah. I loved The Force Awakens. I understand that it is retreading ground, but that's what, I think that's what you needed to start this off, because everyone still has such a sour taste about the prequels in their mouths.
Yeah.
And with this, we needed something familiar and new. And I'm sorry, guys, but there are a lot of fucking elements in The Force Awakens that are not fucking A New Hope retreads. So, you know, take a second look at that fucking movie before you bitch about it again. But ultimately, it was a great middle ground. And now I expect we're going to get something totally different from Episode 8. Episode 9 being under J.J. Abrams, working off of whatever we're getting in Episode 8, and all these other side things that we have out there with novels and comics and shit like that. I've got a lot of hope.
Oh, yeah.
And rebellions are built on hope. So...
God damn it, Benny. So... you couldn't help it.
I had to. And it was like spur of the moment. I didn't even have that written down. So, but anyways, guys, this movie has been moved back to December 20th. 2019. I think it was like March 2019 originally. Yeah. And they moved it back. All 3 of these episodes have come out December-ish. Actually, I think Rogue One was December, and I think Han Solo is December as well. I don't quote me on that one. No, because I made a post on Facebook recently about why nobody was making a bigger deal about the Han Solo release date, because it's May 25th. Do you know what May 25th is?
Isn't that Star Wars Day?
No. It should be. Star Wars Day is May 4th, because people like fucking wordplay.
No, May 4th is not Star Wars Day.
It was this past year. Anyways, that is the debut date. May 25th, 1977 was when Star Wars came out.
Too bad they couldn't have done it this year.
Right?
Do like, God, what would that be, 40 years?
It was the 40th anniversary. I can't remember if they did, because they did Star Wars Celebration, and I don't think that was around May 4th, but I think Star Wars Day was on May 4th. Like the whole like comic shop thing and all that. Yeah, but I remember Star Wars Celebration. It may have been that weekend or something, but I don't think it was exactly May 25th. And me, I bitch about this every year. Like, oh, may the 4th be with you. May the fuck you be with you. Fuck you. It's 25th. God damn it. I'm sorry. It's so sacred to me. You know, it's...
And I will post May the 4th be with you to your Facebook page every year.
Me and Bob are currently feuding about October shit. Yeah. No, okay, this isn't serious shit. This won't date it. Yeah, no, I have a standpoint against all the, like, it's Halloween. I've seen Halloween decorations up right now. It's bullshit. It is bullshit. And here's my best argument. I have some shittier arguments, but here's my best argument. Oversaturation breeds boredom. If we get too much of it, we might scale back to unprecedented level. And I'm afraid of that because I actually love Halloween. I don't love Halloween as a fucking fad, which I think a lot of people do at this point. I couldn't, like, it's hard to pinpoint, but I do fucking love Halloween. It's always been one of my favorite holidays since back when I was a kid, all the way. I trick-or-treated until I was fucking 19, and at that point I had a 2-year-old son. So, yeah, I put my shit on Front Street there again. Anyways, so I legit love this holiday, and I don't want to see it become a fucking fad. I don't want to see it become this just bad taste in our mouths, because just yesterday I saw Christmas shit out of Dollar Tree. I don't
already.
Yeah, already. That's what this is breeding, and before you know it, it's gonna be. Actually, I think it was this year, like late August, like the last 5 or 6 days. Halloween shit was already out. August.
Yeah.
That's fucked.
Like,
come on.
Mid-September is like the ideal time to get Halloween stuff out, because
put some stuff out so we can start prepping for decorations.
And
I've even bought a couple decorations recently.
Yeah, but then it's like, October hits and it's like, okay, we are geared for Halloween.
Yeah.
And then October's done and over with. Okay, let's gear up for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving's done and over with. I am okay with my tree going up on December 1st.
And okay, yeah, all right. See, that makes sense. Me and my, and this is how much of a traditionalist I am with this shit. Me and my mom, for years, because she starts putting up her tree right after Thanksgiving. And I've always been like, why? Why are you doing this? It doesn't make any fucking sense. It's like, it's not December. Come on. This is the in-between time where we make all the fucking turkey sandwiches.
Right?
Don't fuck with this.
But it's like, I can understand the people who put their trees up right after Thanksgiving. Abby's mom was the same way.
Yeah.
We had a Christmas tree in the family room upstairs,
right,
and the living room downstairs, and a little one in our bedroom.
Okay, we got too off topic, because this is sort of my podcast. We're supposed to talk about nerd shit. I don't know, holidays may be nerdy, but I don't think so, because it's an everyone thing. Anyways, yes, I am a traditionalist with Star Wars that way as well.
Yes.
So this one getting pushed back to December, cool, I'm on it. All
Keeps
the other
with the
ones
trend.
have, sure, yeah, it's a good Christmas treat. So, all right, guys, so this brings us to what is becoming a new segment on the show, because the last 3 episodes, I feel, have ended on this note. And Len Wein, a legendary comic writer and editor, has died at the age of 69. Of what I wasn't able to find an article
Due
on
to
yet.
an overdose of cocaine and hookers.
Of course. I mean, come on, he was 69. God, we just pissed so many people off just now. If you're not familiar with Len's work, he is the co-creator of Swamp Thing, Lucius Fox, and, most notably, Wolverine. I mean, that's a big fucking credit to have. And he was also a legendary editor who worked on The Watchmen. He introduced the whoever knows fear burns at the man-things touch concept for the man-thing mythos. He's written on The Flash, Phantom Stranger, Amazing Spider-Man, Thor, Batman, Incredible Hulk, Superman, and so many more. Chances are that if you're reading a book, he influenced it somehow. He was a big name. Huge name. And to only be 69 during his... A lot of these deaths that we've covered recently, like 80s, 90s and stuff. 69, wow. What more did he have to give? Probably not much, because he gave us so much.
Yeah,
but
in his short life, he gave us so much.
But there may have been more in the tank, and I hate that we'll never get to tap that. And still, we do get to appreciate all the things that he did give us. Any Wolverine fan out there can go watch Logan right now and be like, fucking thank God for Len Wein. That this became a thing because he created a thing, So we're losing a big comic book legend. And I use that term literally, legend.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, where we're gonna wrap it up today. On a sad note, like every fucking episode we've done. Last episode it was Tony Hooper.
Oh yeah.
Classic horror director and producer. So yeah, I wonder who'll be the next episode.
Should we just have a legendary obituary
right
segment now?
Shit, the unreturnables or something like that. Because in comics, classically, people who die come back, but this is not the case. So, yeah, I don't know. If this goes one more week, maybe that'll be a new official segment. So, anyways, guys, there was a new series shit up. It's called Remember That, and it was a fun episode.
Oh yeah,
it was really great. Alphaspector and I shoot off on the 90s and a whole bunch of other stuff. I laid down an official Pog challenge, which you gotta hear it. I mean, I take it to the mattresses. You're gonna have to listen to the episode to understand what I mean there. So check that out. Again, I'm gonna be uploading a whole bunch of new stuff to the YouTube this week.
We shouldn't be too far from actually getting caught up.
We're pretty close. I think episode 13 of Sort of My Podcast is about to go up, but then we start getting into the Commoners Commentaries, the first one of which is already up. And then serious shit starts happening. Then we've got our Sort of My Updates. So the more stuff that got released on the SoundCloud and iTunes, the more congested the release for the YouTube becomes. Because if not, like, we'd be like, because this is episode 21.
Yeah.
So episode 13 is about to go up. So we'd be up there like that. So it's still a little slow going. And I would like to officially announce that I am preparing to start pre-recording Edible Obscurities for YouTube. So
very nice.
Phase 3 is in pre-production. So, yeah, do with that what you will. But if you want to see any of that stuff or any of my old stuff from the days I was running the YouTube before, it is Sort of My brand on YouTube again. As always, guys, like, comment, tell us what you think about anything that we said in this podcast. Get in on the conversation. If we start getting a lot of comments, we'll start using those comments. That could be a new segment.
Yeah.
Questions, comments, shit like that, like your rebuttals to our opinions. Because fuck us, right? You think something different, and we're a bunch of pieces of shit. So,
let us know.
Let us know how fucking mad you are that we think yada yada yada. Be that guy who thinks...
Argue with us.
Be that guy who thinks Len Wein wasn't a legend. Well, be that guy.
Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy. Again, guys, my name is Vincent Herman, Vin The Human.
I am James Odle, Alphaspector.
And it's time to intro that. That was so bad. Just play the badass outro music.